part of Madam Fantasma. I have to write this down because this is the only thing I have to make record of this ever happening. Because lately, I just don't know anymore. Things have changed so much. I just hope now, at least, to keep this very diary. What happened today in the morning, I wish I could give it a name. I was asleep in my room, dreaming about something. I don't remember what it was, but I know I was dreaming about something because I have that feeling of knowing you dreamed about something you have at the tip of your tongue, but you just don't have an idea of what it was. Something woke me up. It wasn't a sound or anything. It was just that I woke up, opening my eyes to find the dimness of the room and the walls hiding in the shadows, the figures of my things around me. I know what everything in my room is, so I didn't have to make an effort to distinguish anything, even though everything in there was blurry, dark shapes and shadows. It's still way too early, I thought. What time is it? 5? 4? I rose from bed, sitting on the edge of it, not trying to turn the light on because I barely do when my room is that dark, since I know everything around me so well. Even though it's very rare for me to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I got up and went automatically, believing that must have been the reason I woke up, even though I didn't really feel like going that bad. Inside of the bathroom, the light from outside was able to illuminate a little bit better, and that allowed me to notice the color of it more clear now. The luminescence was smooth, dim, and soothing to the eye, like the very, very early in the morning. But it had the most curious red tone I've ever seen. I paid more attention to the window now, and I saw I couldn't see anything outside of it. Besides dim light mixed with shadowy, pinkish, and red tones, I thought it could have been the regular color of the sky when the sun is just about to rise, and it looks beautiful. But what made me give it a closer look was the fact that there was nothing I could distinguish from the things outside of my house. It was like if I was seeing the window from a different angle that prevented me to get the regular view of the neighbors' houses and surroundings. I felt as if I was watching the outside room from a second floor. I don't even have... It was like I was seeing the window from a different angle that prevented me to get the regular view of the neighbor houses and surroundings. I felt as if I was watching the outside from a second or third floor I don't even have, or the way it might look when you turn to see your window but you're lying down, so instead of the fence outside you only see the sky there. Like I'm not even here, I thought curiously. I didn't know why. I thought that, but I closed my eyes, rubbing one of them with my index finger. While I was doing that, it couldn't have been more than a second. I repeated that last thought in my head, and now that my eyes were closed, I noticed the very subtle detail about the quietness around me. I could feel a profound quietness around me that was deep and far away, if I can describe it somehow. I didn't open my eyes, allowing myself to grasp more into this feeling. I could hear my respiration like if it was the only thing in there that actually existed. It was in that quietness. I could hear my respiration like if it was the only thing that actually existed there, in that quietness. Like not even I existed there. I felt as if I was just gone. Like I'm not even here. Nothing here. I thought again. Well, my brain said, I was just gone. I found myself reaching to the doorknob instinctively. The sound of that was profound and almost felt physical in contrast to the quietness. I opened the door at the same time as I opened and closed my eyes, repeatedly, as if adjusting them like when I woke up earlier. I could feel my respiration, that heavy quietness, that way everything sounded like if my very skin could perceive them. It was just strange, but more than that, it just felt soothing. Like if I'm not even here at all. I told myself one last time, getting out of the bedroom to fully open my eyes on the other side. I was outside of my house. Not even outside of my house, but somewhere I have never even seen before. The quietness was there, even more clear there. Below my bare feet, there was soft soil and patches of semi-dried grass. Around me, everything seemed to go forever in a similar view, just field and hills, and upon a closer look, a few patches of broken cement scattered. Cement from a street, but a street long gone since who knows when. A very soft wind ran, blowing the glass. A very soft wind ran, blowing the grass slowly. The sky was actually red, almost blood red, that ended in a pinkish light very far away to the rising horizon. In front of me, lined up in a street almost gone now except for a barely visible floor of broken concrete, missing huge part of it. It laid houses and, extending beyond, laid more in the ruins of what must have been a suburb, but now it looked like one of those ancient Greek cities or something. The houses in front of me lining from my left to my right, formed what must have been a block before, years ago, but remained in considerable good condition for a place in such ruin. There was graffiti in a few of them, and a tree was coming out of a broken wall in one of them. I liked the way the red but soft light glowed softly on their surfaces. Right in the middle was a house perfectly placed in front of me. It had 2 floors and white paint outside and a triangular rooftop. It seemed old but not horrifically torn down, just like abandoned not so long ago. The door was opened and I could see inside how it was empty and filthy from years. I didn't feel afraid to think of getting in that house. A little itch of fear tried to poke out of me from what was happening, but I felt so alone there, I could find it easy to ignore it. I stood there for some time, just contemplating my surrounding with my mouth open and my eyes wide, just trying to grasp everything I could. See how far I could look, hearing the quietness only broken by the sound of the leaves flowing smoothly and my breath. Turning to my back, I found the moon, pink and full, and close to it I could see another shape, just as round but smaller. How am I going back home? I asked myself, puzzled. I searched around one last time, and to my right I noticed the tiny shapes of what I assumed was a very distant city. I finally looked at the house in the middle again in front of me. I stared at the open door for a moment and moved myself towards it, making cautious steps. My eyes swept everywhere as I approached, and I steadily slowed down as I reached the entrance. Inside, everything in there felt over, like if it was the last time that house was going to be the way it was. Like what I was doing there was the memory long gone of something that's about to happen, but it ended centuries ago. I can't explain it. I started to walk in there, careful about looking at every corner of the empty room. There was enough light from the outside to let me see just fine in there. The sounds I made in there felt unreal in detail. Not loud, but clear, and I felt more confident about entering even further. There was a kitchen in there, a stove, and at the bottom there was a wide entrance to another open room with darkened paint that was chipping in places. first thing I saw in that room was the dirty sofa in the bottom corner of the left. At the right, the room kept going a little bit longer than the left side. At the bottom wall, there I saw an altar, short, reaching about the height of my waist. Around it, the wall looked very filthy, black and greasy like car oil. There was a dark brown small clay figure of a little Xoloscuincle dog that I barely even noticed at first because it blended with the dark color of the floor. There were dry, very dark orange, dead petals scattered, and the altar was made in levels, like any altar you can see on the Day of the Dead. There was a glass of red wine on the lower level and some rotting fruit that smelled sour. There was more food there, but I didn't notice what it was. On the second one, I saw some books, like 7 of them, and a tarot deck, some pieces of wood and a pair of scissors, some tools and stuff I don't know what they were, and a picture on the top level of a woman wearing a white tulle fabric that fell over her face and prevented you to distinguish it clearly. I didn't like the way her eyes looked behind that transparency of the fabric. I felt malice coming out of that blurriness. Madam Fantasma was written with pen on the bottom of the picture. After reading that, I shifted my look to a curious-looking little wooden box below it on the lower level. I reached for it, wondering what was inside. I felt the weight it held, and I lifted it to my breast. The box had no lock, so I opened it to find a red little envelope folded in half to fit the tiny box that was not even half the size of my palm. There was a pretty glossy green stone, and I thought, I'm gonna find a way back home. I closed the box and held it tight. This is all real, right? And I'm not home. I held it with both hands now. How am I getting back? I ran back out holding the box. The sounds were so magnified by the quietness that my heartbeat raced like crazy, and my legs increased speed so fast I don't even know I was in control of them anymore. I just ran outside, not knowing where I was heading. My body was running, and I was not trying to argue with him. A rising, tickly, sharp shot of adrenaline went up my lower back, keeping me running aimlessly, breathing from my mouth as it quickly dried with the cool air that filled my throat, and I kept running, hearing my voice moan, and even then I kept running. I couldn't see anything. The muscles in my legs burned like acid, and I heard a buzzing sound. I felt like throwing up, and I felt a cold, flat surface, pushing my lower arms and elbows. It was on my knees, too, and in front of my feet. My eyes were closed, so I opened them. Confused of what I was seeing, I adjusted my sight to find the floor right on my nose. The floor of my house. My house. Dazed, I numbly turned around, seeing my walls. It really was my house, outside of my bedroom. I looked around to reassure that it really was my house. I rose up, kneeling there, feeling beaten up but relieved. In my hand, I held the little box, and I tried to laugh, but I was too tired and my throat was dry. You are here, little box, okay? Just remember that you're here, I thought, and got up to go to bed. I fell asleep right away and woke up in the morning feeling sore. I looked for the box quickly, but I wasn't holding it. I looked on the bed and sheets, but it wasn't there. I got up looking around, and there it was. I found it on the desk I had at the feet of my bed. I grabbed it, and this time I opened it immediately to empty it on my bed, scattering the things before my eyes. There was the glossy, pretty-looking green stone and some smaller objects. Teeth. Human teeth, all yellowish and old-looking. I wasn't expecting teeth, so I went to the envelope to open it, now more intrigued than ever. What the fuck? I thought as I opened it to reveal a lock of black hair in there. I didn't want it to get all over my bed, so I closed it back and put everything in the box again, except for the stone, which I kept on my desk where I can look at it. You are here, I said to it. It is here. It's all I've been thinking today as I write this, saying that again and again as I look at the box and the stone sitting right here on my desk next to my diary.